TV soap news and spoilers as the sun rose over the quaint, intertwined lives of Beyond the Gates on June 4, 2025, the early morning air carried a deceptive calm. The quiet streets, lined with charming homes and whispering trees, belied the tempest that was about to erupt. For weeks, tensions had simmered beneath the surface, rivalries, secrets, and unspoken fears weaving a fragile web among the residents. Haley and Naomi, two women bound by a history of discord, had long clashed over matters of the heart and pride, their sharp words and icy glares a familiar rhythm in this close-knit community. Bill, a pillar of strength and a steady presence in their lives, stood at the center of the gathering storm. Known for his quiet resolve and unflappable demeanor, he was the last person anyone expected to falter. But as the morning unfolded, the first cracks appeared. In a dimly lit living room, surrounded by the familiar comfort of worn furniture and faded photographs, Bill's voice began to betray him. His words, once clear and measured, stumbled out in a halting stutter, each syllable a struggle, a jarring disruption to the normalcy of the day. Haley, with her fiery spirit and keen intuition, froze mid-sentence, her eyes narrowing as she studied him. Naomi, equally perceptive, felt a chill run down her spine. The air grew heavy, the silence between them stretching taut like a bowstring ready to snap. A lie exposed, a crisis ignited. Bill, ever the stubborn one, raised a trembling hand, waving off their concern with a gruff, "I'm fine." But the lie hung in the air, as fragile as glass. Haley's gaze darted to his hand, the subtle shake undeniable, and a memory flashed through her mind. Weeks ago, Bill had dismissed a supposed, minor, hand problem, a twinge he claimed was nothing. Naomi, too, recalled his casual assurances, the way he'd brushed off her questions with a forced smile. Now, the truth clawed its way to the surface. Bill had lied to them both, concealing the severity of his condition. The stuttering grew worse, his words tangling in a frantic, disjointed mess, and the women's eyes met in a rare, unspoken alliance. This was no minor ailment, this was a crisis. "Bill, you're not fine." Haley's voice cut through the tension, sharp and commanding, her hands planted on her hips as she stepped closer. Naomi, her face pale and her heart pounding, nodded in fierce agreement. "We're taking you to the hospital, now." Her tone left no room for argument, and Bill's protests withered under the weight of their combined resolve. The room buzzed with urgency as Haley grabbed her keys, her movements brisk and purposeful, while Naomi steadied Bill, her touch gentle yet firm. The drive to the hospital was a blur of flashing lights and racing thoughts, the car slicing through the early morning mist as fear gripped their hearts. What was happening to Bill? Could they get him help in time? The stakes felt impossibly high, the future a dark, uncharted sea. Shocking revelations at the hospital loomed ahead, its stark white walls and antiseptic sent a jarring contrast to the warmth of home. Bill sat tensely on the edge of a stiff examination bed, his hands clasped to hide the tremor, his jaw set in defiance. Haley paced the small room, her boots clicking against the tile, her mind a whirlwind of worry and frustration. Naomi stood by Bill's side, her hand resting lightly on his shoulder, her eyes darting to the door with every distant footstep. When Doug, a renowned surgeon and a trusted confidant, entered, the air shifted. His face, usually a mask of calm professionalism, betrayed a flicker of unease, and the room seemed to shrink as he prepared to deliver his news. "Bill, we've run some initial tests," Doug began, his voice steady but grave, each word landing like a stone in a still pond. The diagnosis was preliminary, but the implications were staggering. Bill's stuttering and hand tremor pointed to a potential neurological disorder, a shadow lurking in his brain that demanded urgent investigation. Haley's breath caught, her fists clenching as a wave of fear crashed over her. Naomi's eyes brimmed with tears, her grip on Bill's shoulder tightening as if she could anchor him against this storm. The news was a thunderbolt, a shocking twist that shattered their fragile hope. Doug, though not a general practitioner, drew on his surgical expertise, painting a vivid picture of what might lie ahead: scans, specialists, and a battery of tests to uncover the root of Bill's symptoms. "Bill, you have to listen to Doug," Haley urged, her voice trembling with a mix of anger and desperation. "This isn't something you can ignore." Naomi's plea followed, softer but no less urgent. "We're here for you, but you need to fight this. Get checked out, please." Bill's eyes, clouded with fear and stubborn pride, darted between them, the weight of their words pressing down. Doug outlined the next steps: MRIs, nerve conduction studies, consultations with neurologists. His voice a lifeline in the chaos. The hospital room, with its beeping monitors and sterile chill, became a battleground, a place where hope and dread collided in a heart-pounding dance. Jacob's relentless pursuit of truth while Bill's fate hung in the balance. Another drama unfolded across town, where Jacob, a man driven by an unyielding sense of justice, plunged into a mystery that threatened to upend beyond the gates. Laura's car accident, a tragedy etched deep into the community's memory, had left lingering questions and a trail of whispers. Was it truly an accident, or did darker forces lurk beneath the surface? Jacob, with his sharp mind and dogged determination, vowed to unearth the truth, his focus zeroing in on Leslie, a figure whose name surfaced too often in the shadows of suspicion. Jacob's investigation was a meticulous, high-stakes endeavor. He pored over police reports, their faded ink recounting the chaos of that fateful night. Laura's car, crumpled against a tree, the screech of tires still echoing in the minds of witnesses. He tracked down old statements, interviewed reluctant neighbors, and scoured the accident site, his boots crunching against gravel as he searched for overlooked clues. The deeper he dug, the more Leslie's name emerged, a thread that could tie her to the crash in ways that sent chills down his spine. But proof was elusive, and Jacob knew he'd need more, perhaps the boot and helmet, physical evidence that could confirm Leslie's guilt beyond doubt. The stakes skyrocketed when Jacob considered Eva, a woman already teetering on the edge of despair. Eva held crucial evidence, a secret she guarded with trembling hands, her loyalty to Leslie warring with her conscience. If Jacob's findings implicated Leslie, Eva's role would come under a harsh spotlight, plunging her into a maelstrom of legal and emotional turmoil. The tension was a tightrope, each step a gamble between justice and chaos. Jacob's heart raced as he imagined the fallout, families torn apart, trust shattered, and a community forced to face its darkest truths. Yet he pressed on, driven by a fire to right the wrongs of Laura's tragedy, knowing the truth could either heal or destroy. Chelsea's spark of hope amid the chaos in the midst of this tempest, a glimmer of light flickered on the horizon. Chelsea, a beacon of optimism in Beyond the Gates, found herself at the dawn of a new chapter. A mysterious stranger had entered her life, a figure cloaked in charisma and intrigue, igniting a spark that set her heart ablaze. Their first meeting replayed in her mind. A chance encounter at the local cafe, where a spilled coffee led to a shared laugh, their eyes locking across the table. His voice, warm and teasing, lingered in her thoughts, and the brush of his hand against hers sent a thrill through her veins. Was this love, or a fleeting dream? Chelsea's pulse quickened at the possibility, her spirit soaring despite the chaos around her. Eager to share her joy, Chelsea sought out her sister Naomi, pulling her aside in a quiet corner of the house. "Naomi, I've met someone," she confessed, her voice a breathless rush, her eyes dancing with excitement. Naomi, still shaken by Bill's crisis, managed a weary smile, her heart lifting at her sister's radiance. "Tell me everything," she urged, craving a moment of light in the darkness. Chelsea painted a vivid picture, the stranger's easy grin, the way he listened as if she were the only person in the world, the promise of something new. This mysterious figure, soon to step onto our screens as a new character, brought a surge of anticipation. Who was he? What secrets did he carry? Would he be Chelsea's salvation or her undoing? For now, the connection felt smooth, a rare note of harmony in a day of discord. Day of Reckoning and Unanswered Questions. June 4, 2025, at Beyond the Gates was a day of reckoning, a collision of crises and revelations that left no one unscathed. Bill's health dangled by a thread, a ticking time bomb that forged an unlikely alliance between Haley and Naomi, their fear a unifying force. Doug's shocking diagnosis echoed in their minds, a clarion call to action in a battle against an unseen foe. Jacob's relentless quest for the truth about Laura's accident teetered on the brink of a breakthrough, with Leslie and Eva caught in a web of suspicion and consequence. And Chelsea, with her mysterious stranger, offered a fragile spark of hope, a reminder that even in the darkest storms, life could bloom with unexpected beauty. The hours stretched on, each moment a pulse in the heart-pounding drama. Would Bill's tests reveal a path to healing, or a fight for survival? Could Jacob uncover the truth without shattering the fragile bonds of Beyond the Gates? And would Chelsea's newfound connection bring love or chaos to an already turbulent world? The questions hung heavy, a tapestry of suspense and emotion woven through every glance, every word. The sun dipped low, casting long shadows over the town, but the story was far from over. We hope you enjoyed it and look forward to sharing more with you in the future. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe TV soap news and spoilers for more updates on Beyond the Gates.